At least once a week, someone tells me to kill myself. Yeah. I should probably get a new therapist, but he takes Medicaid, you know. What are we going to do? The real tragedy is you can't stick around to enjoy the benefits. I have a lot of ex-girlfriends I want crying at my funeral, being like, oh my God, if there's only something I could have done differently. And then I just get to, pop out of that casket and be like, here's your chance, I should have killed myself during the pandemic, but I wasn't going to do that over Zoom. Do you know what I mean? You want to disrupt a few hundred people's commute on the morning train. Zoom, you gotta coordinate time zones, Some asshole has their toddler running through the background, taken away from my glory. My mom's crying, trying to tell me she loves me. I'm like, Mom, you're on mute, you're on mute. The real reason I am recording this special is this year, that joke turned 3 years old, and I'm so happy to finally retire it after tonight, so thank you guys.
I'm an consistently inconsistent person, but I have been consistently since I was able to have deep thoughts. It's been something that's just kind of been on the surface or in front of my face probably since the age of 9 or 10 years old. I was raised atheist, where my parents from the age of 5 were like, hey, there's nothing after this. The consciousness just ends. There's nothing after you die. And I said, damn, that sounds better than here.
I don't have any memory of my father. My grandparents sold crack here in the city in the 80s and in the 90s.
How old are you when this is happening?
I was 9.
I went through my closet and found something rope-like and tried to myself from my bunk bed. And I was like, yeah, this is it. I'm done. I'm out of here. And then it didn't work, obviously, because I was 12. I don't know. I wasn't a Boy Scout or anything like that. I didn't really know how to tie knots. So, I just kind of I choked for a little bit and then fell on the ground. And then I was like, all right, I guess I'll go downstairs for dinner. You ever wake up from a attempt and go, God damn, I can't do anything right?
And then phone rings. My mom goes over. Then she goes over to my grandmother and she says, something got shot 5 times and died. And I was like, who got shot 5 times? Some Philly. We hear on the news, everybody got shot so many times. Who? But now it's the phone ringing. Who we know? What happened? Oh, your dad died. That's who got shot 5 times. In 2021, my emotionally abusive father died after an unsuccessful double bypass heart surgery, which has a 99% success rate, by the way. And then they moved him to a rehab hospital. And 2 days after they moved him to a rehab hospital, he tried to get up out of bed to go pee in the middle of the night because he was such a cocky, big, strong alpha man. But he didn't realize that all the muscles in his legs had atrophied because he'd been laying in a bed for 6 weeks. And he fell down, broke his wrist, hit his head, and then 2 days later, he died of an embolism. And then a year later, my younger brother, who was always the black sheep of the family, he had always had a lot of issues, and he was dealing drugs and doing lots of drugs and stuff. He, for reasons we still don't understand to this day, decided to try to murder a woman. Did not succeed. Thankfully, I guess. We don't really know what his relationship... We don't know what his relationship was to this woman. He shot her 5 times while she was sitting in a car waiting outside of a doctor's office where her son was getting speech therapy. And then he walked up the street, walked into the desert, and shot himself in the head. And then now he's dead.
It took me a long time to realize that I have suffered from depression for like quite a while. And I busy myself, and I'm very good at making strategies. And I have seen psychotherapists since I was roughly 15. I acted out a lot. I had serious like binge drinking issues when I was a teenager. And that's just continued into binging. I stopped with the binging, but then like a lot of drug use, a lot of like escapism, but never to the point of, I'm a woman, so like there's only so much looseness you can do without getting.
There's surefire ways to do it. You feel like part of you like was hoping it didn't work out?
So I wanted it to work, but I guess I'm a vain bitch because like there were in the house. I totally could have Kurt Cobained myself, but I'm horrified of it not working and then having to live with it afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why like the ideal situation would be like or like myself so I still look pretty afterwards, like like I want it, but I want it to be like an open casket thing, like I'm
the bottom half and
She asked me if I wanted to go to the funeral, and I thought she'd get mad at me, and I said no. I regret it. I do. There's one photo of my father and I together. I was born in January. That was December. The year I was born, obviously, not the year before.
Honestly, one of the first thoughts that I had when I found out that my little brother had died was, this is all Dad's fault. Like, one of the first out loud things that came out of my mouth was that it was my dad's fault, because I think I mentioned before, my dad was like quite heavily emotionally abusive to all of us, like my mom and my brothers and most people who knew him well. But like my little brother in particular bore like an unfair share of the brunt of that. And I think, after my dad died, we were all struggling, of course, but I think he had the most fraught relationship with him and handled it the worst. And then he got dumped by his psychotic ex-girlfriend and was just kind of unstable in general. So
I've gotten really dark many times, and it's usually, and I've sort of learned to be very careful with who's in my life, because it's usually toxic relationships that push me to self and then thoughts. And like I've only planned out my sort of once. And when I look back, I'm like, God damn, I'm hardcore. Like the way I wasn't like, I'm just gonna like take too many or I'm like, that's pussy shit, right? Like my plan was to like in the heart with a knife. How cool am I? No, but yeah, I didn't tell anyone about this for a long time, and shared it with my family recently, and they were just, they're very supportive. I come from a very supportive family, so I'm good there, but I've definitely done like a lot of self and moments of serious overwhelm, and I have.
Afterwards, they let me do things. It didn't matter. I was able to go outside. I started doing a lot of things. When I was 9, I started smoking cigarettes when I was 9.
When you were 9?
I had a relationship, a girlfriend at the age of 9 years old with someone. Whether I'm something into them or there's something into me does not mean like with somebody else it's not solo anymore.
Mm-hmm.
One day I was just like, I'm just gonna take and just keep taking it. I have some Mino, because Tylenol was making me sleepy. Because Mino has caffeine.
I don't think it's fair to like trauma dump on other people, except in the form of stand-up. Honestly, to an extent, when my dad died, for sure, it felt like a relief. And when my brother died as well, it felt like a relief.
Like just ending the pain. It was the hope that if I were to stop, that the pain would end as well. And
The other thing is I have had pretty much everyone in my life, aside from a few relatives, everyone who has died from suicide.
The Inquirer had a reporter that would go into the courtroom, and he wrote an article about the guy. The title is Killer Shot 2, Called It a Night. And I used to hate the guy, that killed him, right? That's life down there. That's their job. They're there to sell. They're there to protect. And that's just life down there. And that's just how that goes. Like, it's really no hard feelings against my dad and his shooter. They probably, maybe on other circumstances, be fucking friends because they live the same fucking life, right? It's just that at that circumstance, he's working and he needs to believe the people that he's there to protect, right? So he's shooting.
It's just moving on to the next point, even if that is just a lack of everything, even if it's just the absence of everything, it's still it's the next step. Like maybe there is reincarnation. Maybe you do just kind of like float around as this like consciousness. Nobody fucking knows. But no, I'm not scared. I'm only scared to lose the people that I love.
I know how messed up it is to deal with, which is why I would absolutely never do it, and why I never, because just the thought of the pain that I would leave my mom in and my brother, no way.
After death, he's dead. I don't believe in the afterlife. I've been an atheist for like 30 years at this point, so. He's worm food. We cremated him, so part of him is in the sky, in the atmosphere. He's probably been reincorporated into plants, so.
I find it really difficult to accept that my consciousness is just going to disappear when I die. I do think that's narcissistic or egotistical in some, well, it is the ego, right? The conscious, but at the same time, I think like Buddhism, I feel like energies move. I don't think you actually die. I think your energy moves into something else. And whether or not that's into like one person, I feel like into like an unborn baby, I feel like there is a transference of energies and energies continue. They don't disappear. That's science.
And so I think he's in a plant. And I think that's a really beautiful, that's equally beautiful, if not a more beautiful resolution for one's life to like go back into other life and hopefully make it better than whatever he had going on, which was kind of shitty, to be honest. I find comfort in that.
There's nothing stopping the situation for my dad of being in that position and being the shooter. You know what I mean? Like either one of them could have just been a different night, right? I can't, that's what I mean. Like after reading this, I was just, I can't be mad at that man anymore. Like.
You continue with stuff. And that's why having some kind of work that you are passionate about and having certain routines of how, like showering, I don't know, things that get you out of this one feeling and feeling something else physical and thinking about something else so you can lift yourself out of it.
Well, we're glad you're here.
Thanks, man. I love life. I do. I'm very happy I'm here. I do love life. And I think it's really good to talk about this shit, man. We need to not taboo this. We need to talk about it.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.